Good morning, ma'am. Sorry. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, children. Listen, this syllabus is clear to you, right?
Sir, only 4 chapters are coming, right?
Congratulations, Sarni. You'll pass, finally.
Rene, you do realize that this is a class and not a buffet? You should have finished your breakfast on time.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
Moving on. Can Anya hear me? Or will she do drama?
Hello, sir. Sir, I cannot hear you.
Means she will do drama.
No, sir. I thought that you were saying that we will do drama today.
Sir, she is behaving like this because she was the joint secretary of English dramatics. So,
So see, Aditya has put up a weird backdrop.
Aditya, remove that. What is wrong with you all? Anyway, please answer this question, whoever knows the answer.
Sir, which question?
Wait. Please. One sec. It's lost.
Sir lost the question.
This. She could hear. Anya, you're a very terrible person and we really don't like you.
Sir, like who?
Like you.
See? Wait. One sec. Where is Asray? Half the time is already passed.
sir, it's his engagement. The ceremonies are going on.
Okay. What? What are you saying? Asray's engagement?
Yes, sir.
His own engagement?
Oh, sorry, sir. I meant his sisters.
And listen, laugh a bit less and answer me. What is the meaning of fire wars in keeping quiet?
Sir, fire means just like how Hanumanji burnt Lanka with his tail, so that is the meaning of fire wars.
I feel like I have lost all of it times. Students, let's go back to our lesson. I hope that you are following me.
Yes, sir. On Instagram.
I am talking about the chapter The Ghost.
Yes, sir, but there was a technical glitch, so I couldn't listen to the last words.
See, sir has fallen off from his chair.
Let someone call 108.
I am Chandu. How may I help you?
Yes, the teacher who was teaching us has collapsed. Oh my God, we are so worried.
Oh, can I have the address, please? We will be there at the address in a jiffy.
Hey, I am back. I fell. And who said I collapsed?
No one
Okay,
survived.
sir, but
No
sir.
one-
Children, now this.
ब्रह्मण्यः सत्यवादी च तपस्वी नियतवृतः रिपुष्वपि दयावांश्च तस्मात् कर्णो वृषः स्मृतः।
दान जगत का प्रकृत धर्म है। मनुष्य व्यर्थ डरता है, एक रोज हमें स्वयं सब कुछ देना पड़ता है। वीर कर्ण विक्रमी, दान का अति अमोघ व्रतधारी, पाल रहा था बहुत काल से एक पुण्य प्राणवान। रवि पूजन के समय सामने जो याचक आता था, मुंह मांगा वह दान कर्ण से अनायास पाता था। एक दिवस जब छोड़ रहे थे दिनमणि मध्य गगन को, कर्ण जानवी तीर खड़ा था मुद्रित कर नयन को। पूरी कर पूजा उपासना ध्यान कर्ण ने खोला, इतने में ऊपर तट पर खरपात कहीं कुछ डोला।
कौन उधर है बंधु, सामने आओ, मैं प्रस्तुत हो चुका, स्वस्थ हो निज आदेश सुनाओ। अपनी पीड़ा कहो, कर्ण सबका विनीत अनुचर है, ये विपिन का सखा तुम्हारी सेवा में तत्पर है। मांगो मांगो दान अन्य वसन धाम या धन दूं, अपना छोटा राज या की क्षणिक क्षुद्र जीवन दूं। मेघ भले लौटे उदास हो किसी रोज सागर से, याचक फिर सकते निराश पर नहीं कर्ण के घर से।
जय हो, हमने भी है सुनी सुकीर्ति कहानी, नहीं आज कोई त्रिलोक में कहीं आप सादानी। नहीं फिरते एक बार जो कुछ मुख से कहते हैं, प्रण पालन के लिए जहू भांति कष्ट सहते हैं। आश्वासन से अभीत हो उत्पन्न पाता है, कर्ण वचन सर्वत्र कार्यवाचक माना जाता है। ऐसा है तो मनुष्य लोग निश्चय आदर पाएगा, स्वर्ग किसी दिन भीख मांगने मिट्टी पर आएगा।
महाराज, उद्यम से विधि का अंक उलट जाता है, किस्मत का पाशा और उससे हार पलट जाता है। और कुछ अभिलाषाएं तो मनुष्य मात्र का बल है, जगा जगा कर वही तो रखती चंचल है। आगे जिसकी नजर नहीं, कहाँ जाएगा, अधिक नहीं चाहता पुरुष वह कितना धन पाएगा। अच्छा, अब उपचार छोड़ बोलिए, आप क्या लेंगे? सत्य मानिए, आप जो मांगेंगे दान वही हम देंगे। मही डोलती डोलता नभ में देव निलय भी, कभी कभी डोलता समर में किंचित भी हृदय भी। डोले बूंद अचल पर्वत का या डोले ध्रुव तारा, सब डोले पर नहीं डोल सकता है वचन हमारा।
मैं सब कुछ पा गया प्राप्त कर वचन आपके मुख से, अब तो मैं कुछ लिए बिना भी जा सकता हूँ सुख से। अतः विदा दे मुझे खुशी से, मैं वापस जाता हूँ।
ऐसी कौन सी वस्तु आप मुझ नश्वर से मांगेंगे, जिसे नहीं पाकर आप अभिलाषा त्यागेंगे? गौ धरती धन धाम वस्तु जितनी चाहे दिलवा दूं, इच्छा हो तो शीश काट कर यही पद पे चढ़ा दूं।
धन की लेकर भीख नहीं मैं घर भरने आया हूँ, और नहीं नृप को अपना सेवक करने आया हूँ। यह कुछ मुझको नहीं चाहिए, देव धर्म को बल दे, देना हो तो मुझे कृपा कर कवच और कुंडल दे।
समझा तो यह और न कोई आप स्वयं सुरपति हैं, देने को आए प्रसन्न हो तब में नहीं प्रगति है। धन्य हमारा सुयश आपको खींच मही पर लाया, स्वर्ग भीख मांगने आज सच ही मिट्टी पर आया। अतः आपने जो मांगा है दान वही मैं दूंगा, शिवी दिदिची की पंक्ति छोड़कर जग में अयश न लूंगा। पर कहता हूँ मुझे बना निस्त्राण, छोड़ते हैं क्यों कवच और कुंडल लेकर के प्राण छोड़ते हैं क्यों? ये शायद इसलिए कि अर्जुन जिए आप सुख लूटे, व्यर्थ न उसके शर्मोग मुझ पर टकरा कर टूटे। उधर करे बहुभांति पार्थ की स्वयं कृष्ण रखवाली, और इधर मैं लड़ूं लिए ये देह कवच से खाली। तनिक सोचिए वीरों का ये योग्य समर क्या होगा, इस प्रकार मुझे मारकर पार्थ अमर क्या होगा। एक बाज का पंख तोड़कर करना अभय अपर को, सुर को शोभे भले नीति या नहीं शोभती नर को। देवराज जिसे जीत सकते ना हम बाहु के बल से, क्या उचित है उसे मारे हम न्याय छोड़कर छल से। हार जीत क्या चीज, वीरता की पहचान समर है। सच्चाई पर कभी हार कर भी ना हारता नर है। और पार्थ यदि बिना लड़े ही जय के लिए विकल है, तो कहता हूँ इस जय का भी एक उपाय सरल है। कहिए उसे मोम की मेरी एक मूर्ति बनवाए और काट कर उसे एक जगत में कर्ण जय कहलाए। जीत सकेगा ना वह मुझे और किसी विधि रण में, कर्ण जय की आश तड़प कर रह जाएगी मन में। मैं ही था अपवाद, आज वह भी विभेद हरता हूँ। कवच छोड़ अपना शरीर सबके समान करता हूँ। अच्छा किया कि आप मुझे समतल पर लाने आए, हर तनुत्र देवीय मनुष्य सामान्य बनाने आए। अब ना कहेगा जगत कर्ण को ईश्वरीय भी बल था, जीता वह इसलिए कि इसके पास कवच कुंडल था। मुझको छोड़ ना मुझे सहारा किसी और संबल का, बड़ा भरोसा था लेकिन इस कवच और कुंडल का। पर उनसे भी आज दूर संबंध किए लेता हूँ। देवराज लीजिए, खुशी से महादान देता हूँ।
तू मांगे कुछ नहीं किंतु मुझे अवश्य देना है, मन का कठिन बोझ थोड़ा सा हल्का कर लेना है। ले अमोघ ये अस्त्र काल को भी खा सकता है, इसका कोई वार किसी पर विफल नहीं जा सकता है। बहुनात्र की मुक्तेन संक्षेपात शृणु पांडव, वत्स्वमं त्वद्विशिष्टं वा कारण मन्ये महारथम्।
Good evening. On behalf of the entire Scindian fraternity, I extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have fond memories of last year when we met for the first time on the virtual platform. We are together yet again with our hearts filled with fervor and exuberance on the occasion of the Scindia School's 124th Founders' Day. The Scindia School Brass Band is a part of the school's long-standing traditions. It embodies discipline, refinement, and the Scindian ethos. It has won numerous accolades in the past years and has been part of the Grand Republic Day since 2005. At a time when the entire world is witnessing a change in almost everything, our spirit towards preserving our traditions remains unchanged. Presenting before you the Scindia School Brass Band. Our school song personifies the spirit of Scindia. Composed by late Sri D.N. Varma, the words are spun together with a melody that resonates in every Scindian's heart. Even though the times have changed, Scindians continue to embody Maharaja Jivaji Rao Scindia's vision for the school, and I quote, "The young men who go out of the Scindia School will carry in life and in their conduct the bold imprint of this institution. The stamp of self-discipline, of character, of dignity, of chivalry, and of good behavioral qualities on which higher citizenship is based." End quote. We request our principal, Dr. Madhav Saraswat, to pay homage to our founder. Music holds the power to heal us. And this property of music is what is needed during this pandemic that has scarred innumerable people. Scars that are invisible yet deep. So this year, the orchestra would like to present a melody set in Rag Khamach that will soothe your ears and bring rest to your mind. Rag Khamach, though sung in the evening, will bring light in these dark times with its mischievous yet soft style. The annual report of the school is not just a chronology of events at the fort, but a living record pulsating with energy, hard work, sincerity, dedication, and the belief with which they have been pursued by the Scindian fraternity. It looks back in retrospect to mark the milestones that we have achieved last year, giving us a sense of accomplishment and also rendering a vision for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we now request the principal to present the annual report for the year 2020-21.
Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Vibhushan Shri Vishwanathan Anand, the President Board of Governors, His Highness Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia, members of the Board of Governors, Madhav awardees, distinguished guests, parents, old boys, my colleagues, dear students and viewers. More than 12 decades of history have passed through this very institution, and today it is the 124th Founders Day of our school. It is my utmost honor to welcome our chief guest, Padma Vibhushan Shri Vishwanathan Anand. Thank you, sir, for gracing us with your presence. Consistency is the trait of a performer, notwithstanding the circumstances. For us, the pandemic became the lens through which we were able to assess our own strengths. It is necessary to say that the structural foundation to support online learning and engagement that was built over the decades needed only the adding of the digital layer to help the transition to remote learning. We found the best possible ways to make learners' homes a conducive place for learning. Teachers became learners and upgraded themselves in every possible way. Parents were oriented through numerous virtual sessions, and the student community was trained in every way to meet the challenge. It is this dynamism which manifested itself in the way we recalibrated our steps and brought the whole experience of a boarding school online. We also focused on the mental and social well-being of our students and aimed at better communication as well as conversation with them. The pandemic made us realize that it is so very important to intensify the mutual interaction between the teacher and the taught. Hence, a team of counselors is serving as a resource and as a communication channel for students and parents. We have quite often heard the African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child," which became the norm in the new normal setting. We saw a far more enhanced partnership between the school and the parents. In a boarding school, teachers have always played the role of proxy parents. However, during the time of the pandemic, parents stepped into the shoes of teachers and became a strong support system for the school. If it was not for them, I am sure we would not have been able to do as much as we could. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this year's report is special in a way as it is a reflection of what we could achieve together. With the kudos to all the stakeholders, this is where we stand today. We have been adjudged India's #1 in all boys boarding school category for 2 years in a row. The school average of class 12 stood at 92.73%, with 48 students scoring marks 95% and above in a total of 83 students. The school average of class 10 stood at 86%, with 33 students scoring 90% marks and above in a total of 84 students. I also wish to share with you that the board's Certificate of Merit was awarded to 26 students from the batch of 2020 of class 10 and 12. Placements and admissions after schooling are much better, with our boys making it to the top-notch universities of the world. 26 students from the batch of 2021 have received offers from top universities in Wales, England, Ireland, Canada, USA, and Australia, like Angad Sahani, Aeronautical Engineering, University of Manchester; Ayush Gupta, Mechanical Engineering, University of Manchester; Satwik Goyal, Applied Sciences, University of British Columbia; Vishnudeep Tyagi, Computer Science, University of California, San Diego, to name a few. We are also looking forward to our German cultural exchange with Neustadt. Several of our students participated in summer school internships offered by institutes like New York Institute of Finance, Columbia Business School's Global Entrepreneurship Program, Harvard Leadership Program, Global Social Leaders Program, London, Python tutorials by the University of California, Santa Cruz, UPenn Summer School, Wharton Global Youth High School Program, Felsted School Summer Program UK, and Virginia Tech University on-camp activities. Some of the notable accomplishments in the co-curricular arena are as follows. The school won the prestigious Kamla Jeevan Hindi Antar Vidyaliya Vaad Vivad Pratyogta organized by the Doon School, Dehradun. The school also won the prestigious His Highness Maharaja Madhavrao Scindia Memorial Inter-School Hindi Debate. And to add to the debating tally, we also won the 48th Platinum Jubilee Memorial Inter-School English Debate. Ujjwal Mehrotra was awarded Young Finance Scholar Scholarship by New York Institute of Finance. Ujjwal has also received a scholarship from MP government for excellence in Squash. Well done, Ujjwal. Englem Arjun was a panelist on a meeting hosted by the United Nations. Keshav Dudhani was a panelist in a webinar titled Ways of Learning, hosted by Pallavan Learning System. Abhay Khanna won the first prize in Sai Art competition. Krishnam Singhania successfully completed a junior MBA in Business Analytics and Strategy. In line with the philanthropic vision of the school, Veer Raj started his own talk show called The Talk Show with Veer, and also won the Indian Achievers Award 2021. We secured the second position in a competition organized by MSU Shah Alam Malaysia and were recognized as the best school nurturing creativity and innovation by Intelligence Plus InnoVenture 2021. Aradhya Shiv Shukla received the Best Speaker Award in the first round of Sushri Linil Inter-School Hindi Debate conducted by Vellum Girls School, Dehradun. Raghav Mahajan, Prithvi Raj Swarup Pathak, Arnab Joshi and Khush Todi came second and third respectively in the Creative Heart 2021 and online art competition. Vidit Gupta received the Best Speaker Award in the prelims and semi-final round of the All India Oliphant Memorial Inter-School Debate organized by the Vellum Boys School, Dehradun. Sumit Poddar and Mayank Chaudhary won the Best Speaker Award for the quarterfinals and finals respectively. Our chess team distinguished itself in the chess competition organized by Unison World School, Dehradun. Altogether, 163 students from 35 schools of the country participated in the online chess tournament. Arush Atul Prabhu, Shantanu Yadav and Prashant Agrawal were in the top 5 players in their age group and 2 players were in the top 10 in the entire tournament. Vedansh Valasaria and Shaurya Prakash, Memoy Mishra and Pranav Vadwa won awards in Technics organized by Maharani Gayatri Devi School, Jaipur. Satyam Raj and Siddharth Gupta have secured the second position in Quizathon conducted by Learning Links Foundation. In addition, during the last few months, students were busy with more than 10 round square international activities which were conducted online. The school engaged with many universities from UK, USA, Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand and Australia through virtual fairs, smart classes, student interaction sessions on SOPs, etc., which enriched our students as well as faculty. We also engaged with international bodies like College Board, USIAF, Embassy of New Zealand, Embassy of Spain, British Council and Australia Trade Commission to further expand the possibilities of international exposure for our students and teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, looking at what all they have been doing, there is every reason to be proud of our boys, as they did not allow the restrictions to impact their overall level of engagement. At the faculty and the school level, to be able to gauge ourselves against our own records, annual target setting at each level like student, teacher, department is being done regularly. Internal audits of targets and internal sharing of best practices is a regular feature. Investment in teacher development has been prioritized. Average time spent on in-service training and new learnings is around 70 hours per annum by every teacher. Special emphasis on spoken English and personality development is yielding good results. Behavior and discipline have hugely improved due to cultural engineering in school for the better and improved pastoral care. Due to the far-sightedness of the board, sustainability and ecology has found solid feet. It is an active part of the curriculum with intense student engagement. Water harvesting project has taken a new dimension altogether. The water capacity in our tals have gone up by 40%. We aspire to be completely self-sufficient in terms of our water requirement. All thanks to Mr. Rajendra Singh Pawar, Mr. Ravi Son and Mr. Rajiv Katpalia. The same team is working on the solar energy project too. Mr. Harpal Singh, our senior board member, has facilitated a noble and futuristic project of developing our entire campus, not only as an ecology park, but creating a living laboratory for the students and teachers at the school, which will also serve as a reference to all other educational institutes. I am happy to report that the school team has taken up this project with utmost sincerity and made an excellent start. Within a couple of years, we will be able to see the results of this unique initiative and hard work of the team. We are fortunate to have Mr. Pradeep Krishnan as an advisor for this project. Infrastructure is being enhanced and updated while keeping the regalia of the old world architecture intact. We have undertaken an ambitious plan of enhancing the existing infrastructure as well as new additions, like new faculty housing, academic blocks, the multi-sporting complex, etc. You will be happy to know that the refurbishing of the Ranoji House is complete. Notwithstanding where we are today, the school leaders and the custodians of the school have already started putting thoughts together and synchronizing their efforts to evolve as the school of future. This aspiring initiative is being led by our board member Yuvraj Mahan Ariman J. Scindia, Mr. Shiv Kumar Sharma, faculty in maths, Mr. Laveen Govinder RMO, and Bursar Lieutenant Colonel Rajiv Saxena were inducted into the family this year, making it more vibrant. We welcome them and wish them a fruitful stint at the fort. After a long innings of 43 years, Mr. G.S. Bakshi hung his boots as Director Alumni Relations in the month of June this year. His contribution to the community is immeasurable and his presence is dearly missed on the fort. However, Mr. Atul Takle, ex-Ranoji 1973, has taken over the mantle now and has assumed his duties since 1st October 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to the end of the account of the highlights of the school's progress for the session 2021. It was a tough yet a gratifying year in many ways. The pandemic played the role of a catalyst and brought about changes in the educational landscape of the country which were long due. I hope the learnings stay with us and that we continue nourishing the mind, body and soul of generations of Sindhians. Sa vidya ya vimuktaye. Indeed, knowledge is that which liberates. In the end, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the President and members of the Board of Governors for their support and guidance at every step. My heartfelt appreciation for my colleagues from the academic, administrative and services wings for their tireless efforts for the welfare of the students. And my personal gratitude to my colleagues Mr. Rajkumar Kapoor, Mr. Dhirendra Sharma, Lieutenant Colonel Rajiv Saxena and Vice Principal Ms. Smita Chaturvedi for their constant support. And of course, to all the parents and old boys for your continued support, trust and affection. Thank you. God bless us all. Shubhratri.
His Highness Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia, President Board of Governors of our school, has the vision of making our school the preeminent center for learning in the country, producing future leaders with a global perspective and an Indian ethos. It is this thought that has been the chief driving force for this institution and has taken the school from strength to strength. May we now request Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia to welcome the chief guest.
Our chief guest this evening, World Grandmaster Anand Vishwanathanji, members of the Board of Governors, parents, alumni, Principal Madhav Saraswat and faculty members, and my young students. Greetings to everyone. I welcome all of you to the 124th Founders Day of the Scindia School. But before I begin with what I would like to share with all of you today, I would like to take a leaf out of the early years of a man's journey who went on to change the world with what he created. This is the story of his college years, when he accidentally stumbled upon something following his curiosity and intuition, and that turned out to be priceless later on. This man studied in a college that was fairly expensive for his time. After 6 months of studying, he decided to drop out because he didn't find the classes interesting enough for his appetite. One day, while figuring out his next step, he stumbled upon posters in his college that were beautifully hand calligraphed and that caught his fancy. So he decided to take a calligraphy class. This man was Steve Jobs. Yes, Steve Jobs was an expert calligrapher. Now you'd wonder how calligraphy had any practical application in a science student's life. So here's what happened 10 years later. He used all that he had learnt in calligraphy to design it all into the Mac, which was the first computer with beautiful typography. Now the fact is that if he had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would never have had the multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. So the fact is, you don't always have to go with the flow. You can create your own flow. As humans, we tend to easily compartmentalize things into what works and what doesn't, and then end up following a cookie-cutter approach towards building our careers. By taking a risk, you may not get the desired output, but you will definitely break through new doors and come out stronger from the time you started. And who knows, it may even lead you to a place of joy, a place that you love being for the rest of your lives. To my students, if you have a good mind, there is no reason for you not to stretch it to discover other frontiers. Let your dreams be as unthinkable and unimaginable as they can be. Set your eyes on a seemingly unattainable goal. Take a chance and go for it. With this, I also wish to share some observations with you that I have gathered throughout my experience in the education sector in general. My first observation is about the need for students to understand the purpose of self-discovery. Now, this sounds like something that only concerns adults, but I believe that the process must begin from school itself. I have learned that a majority of students across the board carry a myopic vision of self-growth and the purpose of education in enabling that self-growth. Our priorities as a student rightly lie in passing exams with flying colors, winning awards in extra and co-curricular activities, and being entrusted with important student positions. But undeniably, this is all extremely important given that you all will step into a highly competitive future where exhibiting excellence will not be a matter of choice but of survival. And while all that may sound daunting just now, here's what I want you all today to take home with you. Winning is not everything, but what is important in the process of competing is getting to know yourself. We have often heard people that say your biggest competitor is your own self. I want you all to take a step back and think, how is that I compete with myself unless I do not have a clear idea of my own potential, my own capacities, and certainly my own limitations? So you've got to continually ask yourselves at different stages in your school life, what is it that I really like? What is it that I do not like? Where do I want to be in the future? This process of inquiry, I believe, will begin your journey of self-discovery. My next observation is something that it took me a while to understand and implement for myself as well. Now, at the Scindia School, the focus is to instill in all of you excellence, not just with regard to academics, but also sports, arts, performing arts, and so on. But here's what I would like students to also imbibe. Aim high, but not in all directions. Start setting your mind towards that one thing that you would truly want to invest in the future. Because right after you complete your schooling, you will be tasked with making important choices about the direction of your lives. Focusing on fewer things that will only help you make those important decisions. For instance, if you want to make a hole in a wall, you strike at it once, and then you've got to continuously hammer at the same point where you struck first to create that hole. Conversely, if you take a different aim each time you hammer, what will happen? You'll end up making no impact. Again, this is not to say that you shouldn't strive to become an all-rounder, but my intention is to offer a different perspective, a different approach, and I want you to adopt the one that is good for you, not for your parents, not for your friends, not for your teachers. The best approach is the one that is best for you. But whatever you do it with grit, with integrity, with discipline. These are the three most important ingredients that will help you tide over the greatest challenges in life. Let me repeat: grit, integrity, and discipline. It's a testimony to the foresight of the founder of the Scindia School, Maharaja Madhavrao Scindia I, that these high values and the high benchmark of excellence and pertinence in the education we impart has been steering us since 1897. H.H. Maharaja Madhavrao Scindia's the first vision was not just to educate and develop faculties of students in school, but to nurture above all good human beings steered by a sound value system and an inquisitive spirit. Human beings who carry themselves with pride, but with their feet rooted in the ground. It is in this spirit that I am delighted to introduce to you a great role model for all of us, who was kind enough to take the time and share his story and guiding philosophy with all of us today. Today we have with us a man, or should I say a legend, who truly embodies the values I have been speaking of today, and is the man who brought chess to India, which was a hitherto uncharted territory in Indian sports, the living proof of mind over matter, Mr. Vishwanathan Anand. As far as I remember, since the very beginning of his chess career, he was known for his speed, and this style of his would always put his opposition under pressure. There is a lot that one can learn from his momentous journey. Mr. Vishwanathan started playing chess when he was all of 6 years old and became the youngest international grandmaster at the age of 14. The rest, as we know, is history. A Padma Shri at the age of 18, the age of a lot of you sitting here today, a Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna awardee at 22, and a Padma Vibhushan at 38. The Lightning Kid, a name that he was given by his followers, completely changed the way the world looked at India in the field of chess. So one might wonder that a prodigy like him must know the game in and out. What more is in it for him to learn? It's only a game after all. But you will be surprised to learn that until recently he would practice for up to 10 hours on certain occasions. Here's the thing. The more you practice, the more you discover something new. And if I may use the chess parlance, you don't relax until the score sheet is signed. Learning and unlearning are lifelong processes. So even when things are going well, try to look at them with fresh eyes. There's always some scope to better ourselves. Students, what we all tend to hold on to is a pedestal. People's achievements, but not the sacrifice that goes behind them, not the failures that make them who they are. For Mr. Vishwanathan Anand, challenges, self-doubt and emotional crises were part and parcel of the game. For instance, in 2019, he missed a chance to qualify for the Grand Chess Tour finals by just 1.5 points. Now, I'm sure that the loss must have been disheartening for a 5-time world champion who had clocked bigger victories in the past. But despite the failure, what kept him going was his love for the game. I'd once heard him say in an interview, and let me quote, "Most chess games are not decided by your best moves. They're decided by your state of mind. The good or bad moves follow that," unquote. When he played the 2021 Grand Chess Tour, he turned the clock back in style and outplayed several younger, stronger rivals to finish runner-up. So no doubt, some challenges and failures may be hard to overcome. But at the end of the day, it is your attitude that decides who wins, you or your failure. So don't worry too much about losing. Instead, what you mustn't lose is your focus on your goal. Now, my last observation is more like an appeal to you. As you strive to attain success in your respective domains, you must uplift those who do not have the same privileges as you. when you help others succeed, your eventual payoff will always be far greater than your investment. Mr. Vishwanathan Anand today is just not an inspiration for people, but he is also a mentor to many budding chess players, training them to become future chess champions. The idea is that wherever you go and whatever you do, you must always do your bit to touch others' lives. The best and the most successful innovations are those that provide a solution to a common problem. If you are an innovator, try to build something that helps make a difference to people's lives. That said, I hope that as you navigate your way in an uncertain world, let the Scindian values of integrity, honesty, patience, and compassion be your guiding light. Hold on to them tightly. Do well, but also do good. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, life in boarding school is much more than formal classroom education. Verily, the entire period of life that we spend here at the fort becomes a way of learning, most of it outside the walls of the classroom, in the sports field, in hobby and society interactions, in trying hands at the publications, in research and innovation in the Think Lab, and the list is endless. It is now time to celebrate the achievements of students in various verticals of the boarding school life. May we now request the principal to announce the annual awards.
The Umang Mathur Memorial Trophy for the best in academics in class 11 for 2021 goes to Memoy Mishra of Daulat House. The Mahend Mishra Memorial Trophy for the best sportsman in class 11 for the year 2021 goes to Ujjwal Mehrotra of Mother House. The Maharaja Madhavrao Scindia II Medal for All-Round Proficiency in Class 11 for the year 2021 goes to Ujjwal Mehrotra of Mother House. The Sam Pitroda Award for the Best Innovative Project, Zero, a customizable programming language for 21-22 goes to Prashast Pandey and Amrit Singh of Daulat House. The R.B. Pawar Medal for scoring the highest percentage of marks in mathematics in class 12 board examination for the year 2021 goes to Aditi Joshi of Jayaji House. The Governor's Medal for scoring the highest percentage of marks in class 12 board examination for the year 2021 goes to Aditi Joshi of Jayaji House. The Field Marshal Karyappa Shield for the best sportsman for the year 2021 goes to Kartike Kulshrestha of Jayaji House. The Maharaja Jivaji Rao Scindia Medal for all-round proficiency in class 12 for the year 2021 goes to Aditi Joshi of Jayaji House. The Khurshid Lakadwala Junior House Efficiency Shield for the year 2021 goes to Kanir Khed House. The Guru Har Gobind Singh Gurdwara Trophy for the best house in academics for the year 2021 goes to Jayaji House. The Nepal Trophy for the best house in games and sports for the year 2021 goes to Daulat House. The General Efficiency Shield for the year 2021 goes to Mahaji House. Congratulations to all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest this evening, Padma Vibhushan Vishwanathan Anand, has many accomplishments to his credit. He is the youngest Asian to win the International Masters title at the age of 15. At 16, he became the national chess champion. At 18, India's first Grandmaster. For his outstanding performance and achievements, he has received many awards. The Arjuna Award for Outstanding Indian Sportsman in 1985, Padma Shri, National Citizens Award, and the Soviet Land Nehru Award in 1987. He has also been awarded the prestigious Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award and has also won the coveted Chess Oscars in 1997, 1998, and 2004. We now invite the chief guest to address the gathering.
Hello everyone. Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the President of the Board of Governors, the Principal, the old boys, teachers, students and parents of the Scindia School, Dr. Punit Bulchand, Madhav Award recipient, friends. It gives me great pleasure to be with you today. I would like to talk about my experience of how my chess career and how what values I carried with me and how I use them as an anchor to go forward. So when you start out as a chess player, there are some early lessons that you learn. More or less the first thing you learn, they tell you you can never take a move back. That's supposed to impress you with the importance of thinking before you making a move, accepting that once you've made a move, you have to be ready to face the consequences. And therefore, you have to anticipate all the consequences before you do that. It's recommended to always analyze the game with your opponent, which was a much more important value in the time when, pre-internet time, when almost all chess encounters happened over the chessboard. He was expected to, or to consider proper behavior to analyze the game with your opponent. Because in a sense, he's the only other player who's given so much time to thinking about that game. And it is a kind of courtesy and a learning experience to be able to exchange impressions with this player. You are expected to lose gracefully, to win gracefully as well. So these were the initial things. You then learn certain rules about how to move the pieces, writing the notation, accepting the arbiter's verdict, and so on. Believe me, at the age of 6, some of this seems redundant, but over a lifetime, you realize that these rules and customs are there for a very important reason. The more important learnings are the lessons you learn for yourself. For instance, when I started to play, very quickly, you'd play one game, then the second on another day, then a third on another day. And you begin to have up and down results, especially at the very beginning. But you learn that discipline, both before a tournament and during a tournament, is very important. So you soon figure out that if you're thinking of the game, getting ready for it, trying to make sure you're in your best shape, your best emotional state, and you respect your opponent, no matter how weak, you always should assume that it is possible for you to lose if you play below a certain level. And no matter how strong, you respect yourself. You think, this is a great player. I'm going to play the moves with the respect he deserves, but I will have my chances. So it works in both directions. You have to be, you have to show respect to everyone, but you also have to be confident when playing people stronger than you. And this has important psychological components. which we sometimes describe in a sporting context as overconfidence and timidity. Both are to be avoided. But most strictly, I know that if I can spend 1 or 2 hours thinking of the game, preparing my strategies, rehearsing them, then I'm much better prepared even to face the unexpected. When I play the game and something new happens, at least I have a starting point. The moves that I knew were going to happen, the strategies which I thought were going to follow, and you can extrapolate for that to deal with the unexpected. Then you learn how to present yourself to the outside world. Respectful clothing, a generally serious attitude, being silent in the tournament hall. If you need to speak to someone, always in a low voice, perhaps you need to talk to the arbiter or consultant something, step away, do it, do not disturb the others. All these lessons. You learn that good habits matter. So if you're sleeping well before a game, if you pay attention to your diet, your fitness, these all do impact your game. In the end, the state you are in is very important for how to play. And after a while, this discipline becomes quite important to the point where you even become superstitious about it. If I follow a routine and things are going well, then I'm very loath to break that routine. I will insist on working an hour every evening, even if there is nothing particularly to work about. I may have done all my work before the tournament. But you stick to your routines. It helps you navigate the day so that at a given time in the day, you know what you're going to be doing. And the free time you have can be dangerous if you don't know how to spend it. Because if your mind starts wandering to what can go wrong, you may start to over worry. If your mind starts to wander away from the game, your focus is shifting a little bit. But this kind of routine and discipline are excellent habits to cultivate in the beginning. They took me through my junior career, to my Grandmaster title, to my first World Junior Championship. And that's how I became a strong chess player. It is also the emotional state of being able to peak before a game. You go to the tournament hall, you see the other participants, you see the chessboard, you see the clock, and your body is hardwired to immediately concentrate. And you realize that your thoughts are becoming more clear. When your opponent makes a move, suddenly you see more possibilities than when you were at home. And all these things are a way that you have trained yourself to peak both in concentration and in your nervous state during a tournament. Of course, as life goes on, you will have to learn to be flexible, to adapt these things. So these values shouldn't be millstones that are always there, like as an anchor, to be used when necessary and to be adapted as you need. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I mentioned that when tournaments go well, I like to stick to my routine very strongly. But what do you do when a tournament goes badly, or if a game goes badly? And it happens. You realize that you're not invincible. Things can go suddenly very wrong. It's good to always have this humility, and a loss is also a good chance to revisit all your assumptions. I may have a lot of assumptions on the chessboard. I play this very well. I do this very well. And a loss is often a chance to question these things, to take a second look and see, is there something I could have done better? Is there something somebody else does better and I can learn from? This is something you can do always, of course, but I find that I'm most receptive to this kind of learning when I have lost a game. So that allows you to see losses in a different light. Certainly, I'm disappointed by losses. I still am. So I'm describing a process rather than a settled matter. But I know that when I lose a game, that probably if I work hard and I correct myself, that success will be around the corner. So, but it also impacts your discipline. Sometimes when I've lost a game, I may not stick to my routine. I may not work exactly when I want to work. I may go to sleep a little bit later. I may just go for a walk to clear my head. And this is a kind of calibration. You want to know when you have dialed it maybe a bit too high and you want to loosen up a little bit. But once again, loosen up from what? It helps to have something to base yourself just as a starting point. And that's where this approach is useful. Then you have to learn how to deal with the outside world. Soon, almost in any walk of life, certainly in chess, you will meet people who behave badly. Some will just break the rules, but some will stay on this borderline, not breaking a rule, but certainly breaking the spirit of that rule. And you have to decide how you're going to deal with that. You realize pretty soon that chess isn't just about making good moves. Chess is played in the head. And if you're not in sync with your mind, you will invariably, mistakes will come. Your mind is almost like something slightly independent of you. And there's a conflict between asking you to play on your behalf and trusting it to be on your side, almost. So it's important to figure out how you're going to deal with such situations. Again, I learned a lot of this through experience, through trial and error. But there was a fundamental thing. I can say without modesty, false modesty, that I am generally well behaved. It's just the way I am. I don't like to kick up a fuss. In fact, I play my best chess when there's nothing else to worry about and you can focus entirely on the game. So how do you then deal with people who behave badly? I have found that what works for me is blocking them out. Recalling the times when I have played people who didn't behave well, and realizing afterwards that when I won the game, nothing they did mattered to me. So you remind yourself, you channel your energy and say, if I win this game, it doesn't matter what they do. So let me double my efforts here. And in fact, people I dislike, I find that I'm able to resist much better. Just thinking the prospect of having to resign to them doubles my strength and I will increase my resistance. I will keep on playing. I'll keep defending, keep fighting, at least for the satisfaction of making it harder for them. So like this, you need to approach different situations with a sense of what you're comfortable with. And the most important thing in life, I believe, is to be as comfortable as possible. But for this, you have to understand yourself very well. My games told me that I'm comfortable when I'm not having discussions in the press, arguments in the press with other players, that I'm able to focus on the game. And so eventually, as I got better and I started to play in better events or strive for higher titles, I strove to create this atmosphere. But it goes deeper than that. It comes down to how you treat yourself. One of the things I found that because I dislike confrontation, sometimes in the federation might overlook you when trying to pacify another player. And I found that in my junior years, I tended to ignore this. It bothered me, but I didn't address it. And so I would go ahead and play the event. And then often I would self-destruct. It's because deep down I resented not having my viewpoint heard. But eventually realize, once again, like a dial that has gone too far, this striving for peace cannot be taken too far. There are always going to be uncomfortable situations. How am I going to make my viewpoint heard firmly without getting to a point where I myself became uncomfortable with how I was dealing with it? So there were multiple instances. My first World Championship match, when I took the lead, my opponent, Kasparov, maybe he was just very wound up, but he started leaving the room after every move, and he would slam the door behind him. In the second World Championship match that I played against Karpov, and he had managed to arrange things very, very nicely for himself, seeded himself into the final where I had to qualify. I didn't mind it when I had to qualify because I was not sure that I was going to be the one to play against him. But once I realized that I had successfully qualified to play against him, I realized that the system had been very unfair to me. And I self-destructed at the end. Did I do it because I resented it? Did I not? Certainly it didn't help. So I then realized I had to stand up. It's a bit out of my comfort zone, but I had to stand up and see, how am I going to face the situation? A couple of opportunities came along. Within a couple of months of the second World Championship match, I was playing a tournament in Linares in Spain, one of the great chess tournaments of that time. And I was given an offer to qualify to play a match against Kasparov. I considered it briefly. It wasn't wrong in any way, but I felt that everything was happening too fast. I had just finished some exhausting events. We were barely in February. And in early May, I was expected to be ready for this qualification match. On top of that, I would still have one more commitment to honor in March. So I was only getting 1 month off, both to train and be ready. So despite the fact that another World Championship shot was very attractive to me, I asked myself, will I be comfortable if I took this decision? Or if I grab it with both hands, will I secretly be unhappy with myself? And will that compromise my performance? And for the first time, I turned down a very attractive event because I decided that I had proven myself already in 2 World Championship matches, even though I hadn't become world champion. But this was the time to say that I'm not comfortable with this and I'm not going to play. So I declined that match. And I went on to have one of my best years in chess. Not in the cycle, but in tournaments. I won 5 tournaments that year. And we actually have a chess Oscar, just like the Oscars for acting. And I won the chess Oscar for this year as well. So I won it the previous year and repeated again. And this has often happened when I've had a decision like this. It's almost as if your mind rewards you for taking into account your considerations. Again, there's the sense of having a dialogue with yourself, but often values are like that. Life doesn't present situations very black and white. You don't get this kind of moral scenario where if you press this, 5 people die. If you don't press it, 1 person dies. Which will you press the button? You get much more mixed situations, and you really need to know what you're comfortable with. Treat others with respect, but at the same time, treat yourself with respect. Don't put yourself at the back of the queue. This was the lesson I had learned. Then in 2 years, once again, there was an offer to play Kasparov. Once again, I had problems with the organization who were trying to get this match off the ground. And this time, I turned it down again. I then went on to play the second world title at that point. Here, everything was fantastic. my association with NIIT had started, and well, one of the old boys, of course, can confirm this. The World Championship was happening in Delhi. That felt very special, and I knew everything about this World Championship was positive. I played it. There were scary moments, not many, but there were scary moments. And I finally won this world title. There was some things that were beyond my control. For instance, I had only one of the two chess world titles at that point. There was a split in the chess world, a little bit like boxing. I won't digress on it, but suffice it to say, when you have two world titles, things get a bit confusing for everyone. So over the next year, due to circumstances beyond my control, I found that despite being world champion, I was not fully acknowledged as such. Then I had a few difficult months playing chess. And right after that, I lost my world title. I fell behind on the rating list. I was only number 3, but still quite a distance between me and number 2. We had always been very close. And I went to a tournament in Prague where there was a big conference on how to reunify the two world chess titles. I was not fully a part of this because I had lost mine, but as one of the top players in the world for the last decade, you expected to be invited anyway. And they were conscious of this. They understood that it would give more credibility to the reunification process if I was brought back in. But conferences, negotiations have a lot of moving parts. You can say this is what I deserve, this is what should happen, but a lot of moving parts, lots of people pushing for their own interests. Things don't always go the way you think they should go. Then you have two choices. Do you plunge headlong into the negotiations? Do you stand and fight and keep saying, you argue your case? I have mentioned, this is a perfectly respectable approach. Other chess players would have done that. I'm not criticizing it. But deep down, I knew that that's not how I like to do things. I would like my case to speak for itself, my game to speak for itself. And so I was uncomfortable with the idea of going to the conference, the negotiating table, and sitting and fighting my case. And I realized that after the last few months of bad results, what I wanted most badly was to play a good chess tournament. So I took the chance to mentally write off this reunification process. I thought I can always join at a later stage if that happens. But it would be nice just to have one good game. What matters to me most of all is the chess. I play a good game, then I play another good game. I feel so happy. The last few months have been miserable because I haven't been able to do that. So let me focus on that. And this is quite profound because whenever you have this attitude, I found it's quite often rewarded. So I turned down the slot they had kept for me in Prague. I did not go for the meeting, but I won the tournament in Prague, which was not related to the World Championship cycle, but nonetheless was one of the most important events in chess at that time. And after that, I had just about 30 months of outstanding results because I felt free. And you can see that there's almost the World Championship title is off your back. Suddenly, a lot of the unpleasant conversations you're having with yourself are gone. And I was focusing on the chess, and this worked very well. However, in this time, I also missed the fact that there was no World Championship title to play in. And so when in 2007, an opportunity appeared, there was going to be a World Championship in Mexico. It was going to be the reunified title. So after a long time, I got to address this old past demon, if you like. And were the conditions ideal? No. You could correct this or that, but I felt deep down that it wasn't unfair to me. The unfairness, it wasn't directed against me. And that allowed me to feel better about it. So it isn't a question of what something is, it is about how it affects you. If it feels unfair, you must know that you're able to play better under those circumstances before you accept it. If you feel that you will resent yourself and you'll be at war with yourself, maybe it's better to let go. That's the model I'm hinting at. Here, I did not feel it was directed against me. It was a messy process. Reunification had been complicated, and I accepted the thing. And after 5 years, I wanted to play a world title again. I was getting to the age of 36, and I felt that it was important to give it a shot before age caught up, so to speak. So I accepted it with full gusto. I wasn't negotiating for better or anything like that. I just wanted to play, just for the love of the game. One more shot at this world title. I'll give it my best shot, and after that, I'll face what comes. That attitude has often correlated with my best results. I won in Mexico, my first unified world title, and then I retained my title in 2008, in 2010, in 2012, before losing it in 13. So a 6-year reign, if you like. And that was one of the best periods in my life in terms of results, because I was getting the title that I was winning. It also helped me calibrate my responses to new opportunities that would come. When you have sudden bursts of fame, you get lots of distracting, let's say, commercial opportunities. You get a chance to enjoy some celebrity. But I managed to straddle a line, not perfectly, but to take the fame and opportunities. It's silly to turn down these things in life because you don't know how often they will repeat themselves. And I've learned the importance of stretching my comfort zone a little bit to experience those things, but always drawing a line. The moment I was going to go back to chess, did I have the time frame to be able to go back, work hard, and give it my best shot? So always keeping chess as the priority, because deep down I know that that is what I get work satisfaction from. A good chess game feels to me like something I did. Fame and other things feel like something that's happening to me. And in the long term, once you've met your immediate needs and the need for validation, the need for financial stability and so on, you realize that it's that internal validation of something that you've striven and you achieve that matters the most. A lot of these learnings have come from many years of reflection, from painful experiences, and I have no doubt that most of you will have very challenging lives. That is how life is. But you have one very nice thing in the Scindia School that can give you a little edge. You have a wonderful place for contemplation with a glorious view of the setting sun and the Astachal. And I hope you make full use of this resource. I wish you all the very best in your future. Thank you.
We now request His Highness Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia to announce the name of the Madhav Awardee for the year 2021.
It gives us immense pride to welcome Dr. Puneeth Bulchand, a noted materials scientist and professor at the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computing Systems in the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. He currently holds the coveted title of Distinguished University Research Professor of STEM at the University of Cincinnati, which was bestowed upon him after he won a prestigious annual competition held at the university in the disciplines of sciences, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. Dr. Bulchand joined the Scindia School in 1954 in the Jayaji House and spent 7 years on campus. While in school, he was the house prefect, and in 1961, he was awarded the President's Medal for the best boy in academics by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. He completed his Master of Science degree in physics from Punjab University, Chandigarh in 1965, and then went on for further studies in the US. He received his PhD in physics from the Case Western Reserve University in 1969. Dr. Bulchand joined the University of Cincinnati the same year as a full-time faculty member in the Department of Physics. In the last 5 decades as a faculty member at the university, he has distinguished himself as an exceptional professional and academician in the field of condensed matter physics, with expertise in materials of science. He has received critical acclaim for his study of the topological phases of network glasses and identifying their molecular structure origin. His discovery of a new phase of disordered condensed matter, titled the intermediate phase, has been documented in archival literature as the Bulchand intermediate phase. Dr. Bulchand's discovery also won him the prestigious Stanford Ovinsky Award in 2003. The theory has revolutionized glass science and technology and paved the way for the development of Gorilla Glass, which is now used extensively in the audiovisual instrument industry. He was also nominated for the Oliver Buckley Prize, which is considered as the American equivalent of the Physics Nobel Prize. We are honored and privileged to have a stalwart like him amongst us, who truly embodies the ideals of excellence, precision, and experimental innovation. Needless to mention, Mr. J.L. Dar would have been extremely proud of the boy who he taught physics over 60 years ago at the Scindia School. On behalf of the Scindia School, it gives me great pleasure to confer on Dr. Puneet Bulchand the Madhav Award as an Old Boy of Eminence for the year 2021 for his outstanding contribution in the field of scientific research.
We request the Madhav Awardee to kindly address the gathering.
Namaskar. His Highness Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia, Principal Saraswat, members of the teaching faculty of Scindia School, and my good friends, all the students. Thank you, Dr. Saraswat, for giving me the opportunity to address the school on this Founders' Day. A couple of words about myself. I graduated from Scindia School in 1961, 6 decades ago. But I have fond memories of the school, the Gwalior Fort, the Man Singh Palace, the Astachal, the statue of Gandhiji, the Suraj Kund, where we used to put the Ganapati Bappa Moria, having lived there for 7 years, starting 1954 through 61. Those were the formative years of my life. And I cannot say enough about the teachers who nurtured me in the school. And when I think of them, I remember the name of every teacher. They also served as a role model. As I began teaching at UC in 1969, it did not take me long to realize that the driving force has always been to put student first. You want to help launch their careers so that they can be a constructive member of the community at large. So I obtained my PhD in physics from Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, about 200 miles north of Cincinnati. I spent the last 52 years of my life here at the University of Cincinnati. as a faculty member in the Department of Physics and the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. Cincinnati is a great place to live and work. And let me share with you a couple of slides of Cincinnati. So here you're looking at the Ohio River that separates Ohio, which is on the left, and Kentucky on the south, Covington. And you have this beautiful suspension bridge built during the Civil War, 1856, 1866. Got delayed because of the war. And over here in the back, you can see the world headquarters of Procter & Gamble. And on a hill about 3 miles away is the beautiful campus of University of Cincinnati. Neil Armstrong went to the moon in '69, and he joined University of Cincinnati as a professor in aerospace engineering in 1971. We have over here George Rivershell, Dr. George Rivershell, who discovered the antihistamine Benadryl. And then over here you have Dr. Albert Sabin, who discovered the oral polio vaccine. And the gentleman here is Dr. Hermann Schneider. He was the Dean of the College of Engineering who began the co-op program in 1906. It's still being used in the US, and it provides for students to learn while they earn. Here's a picture of some of my recent students. This was December of 2019 when Ralph Shabir graduated with a PhD. Ralph is working in a very important company in Taiwan on semiconductors, the world's best. This is Badria Al-Materi. She is a professor of physics in a university now in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Aaron Welton, Sumendu Chakrabarti, he graduated as a PhD. He has gone to work for Intel in Albuquerque. So I want to share with you in a few more slides some of the things we have done. And glass is one of the oldest and one of the newest material. Oldest, it was thought to have been made in nature by seaweed reacting with sand, salt, with SiO2 and lime calcium oxide. Those are the three ingredients of window glass. Romans had perfected window glass by hit and trial. Galileo Galilei used that window glass to make a telescope to discover the moons of Jupiter. And then eventually the telescope was used to study planetary motion, which set into motion mechanics. Newton and the law of gravitation formalized all the understanding of the motion of planets. Bacteria was discovered with microscopes. It's also the newest material. 3 technologies that came from glass have turned life upside down: optical fibers and the World Wide Web. And everyone carries glass in his or her pocket. The cell phone, the Gorilla Glass, that the hard glass surface that's on the cell phone. In general, flat panel displays, TVs, jumbotrons, all are engineered glasses. And they're engineered about something we had something to do with. You can store movies on a DVD, a digital video disc. You can store the encyclopedia on it. Touchscreens displays have come into being, and these are some of the newer products in glass. The new glass age is dawning. You see, in 1998 at UC, we discovered the existence of a new phase of disordered matter. It's called the intermediate phase. It represents a rigid but stress-free phase, also called self-organized. This phase has profound consequences on application of glasses because aging is qualitatively suppressed. And you can learn more about it if you Google these 3 words. You'll get access to a lot of papers. People nowadays are looking for how glass composition and atomic scale structure controls macroscopic properties. We're moving towards the glass genome in analogy to the human genome. And remarkably, the UN has declared 2022 as the International Year of Glass. And to summarize in one slide, you see these self-organized networks. At the base of the window glass is that self-organized network. It's very stable. And window glass has nurtured human civilization for the past, since Christ. In electrical engineering, you have metal oxide semiconductors and these FETs, in which gate dielectric is an important segment, and that's a glass, and it's a self-organized glass. In biological sciences, protein folding. Protein are biological networks, disordered networks. These are inorganic networks. They fold and unfold in much the same way the glasses go through a glass transition. And Mother Nature has optimized this folding and unfolding so that you and I are living for years together. I'll leave this one aside, and I'll also leave this one aside, except to simply say that the satisfiability problems in computer science have phase diagrams very similar to the ones that we have encountered in glasses. And the last one, of course, is Gorilla Glass, which made for Corning an enormous amount of money. And so without further ado, I want to thank you, and namaskar, and God bless you all.
May I now invite the Senior School Prefect, Ujjwal Mehrotra, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, Honorable Chief Guest for the evening, Padma Vibhushan Shri Viswanathan Anand, President Board of Governors, His Highness Maharaja Jyotiraditya Scindia, and esteemed members of the board, Principal Dr. Madhavdev Saraswat, eminent guests, parents, teachers, old boys, and fellow Scindians. On behalf of the Scindian fraternity, I am honored to stand before you to propose this year's vote of thanks. I fall short of words to express my gratitude towards Padma Vibhushan Shri Viswanathan Anand for being here today. Sir, your presence has been such an encouragement to us Scindians, motivating us to keep learning new things and overcoming challenges to achieve excellence. We extend our deepest thanks to this year's Madhav Awardee, Dr. Puneet Bulchand. Sir, your diligent work and professional achievements are the true embodiment of the Scindian ethos. We are grateful to the President and members of the Board of Governors for leading from the helm and steering us towards greater heights. Our thanks are due to all the faculty members for their unremitting attention to each and every learner, making online transactions fruitful and engaging. This would not have been possible without the support of our parent community, and we humbly submit our gratitude to them. Our heartfelt thanks are due to our principal, Dr. Madhavdev Saraswat, our vice principal, Ms. Smita Chaturvedi, and our deans, Mr. R.K. Kapoor and Mr. Dhiren Sharma, for bringing out the best in us by tirelessly guiding us from one step to the other and being our pillars of strength. I would be remiss if I failed to thank the student body of the Scindia School, for it is they who bring joy to life at the fort. The Scindia School is a world in itself, where a child enters as an individual but leaves as a part of a 124-year-old legacy that is spread across the world. This school is more than just an educational institution. It is our home. It is what grounds us and inspires us to spread our wings and take flight. It molds young minds into confident global citizens. There is no other place like Scindia. Finally, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone for being a part of this delightful celebration. Good night. Long live Scindia. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the close of today's program with the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे